from the leading and most trusted GMA News and Public Affairs.
News with an N.
News on prime time.
News on Q. President Arroyo explains herself in the ZTE controversy and hits critics for too much politicking. Leah Manyalak on Q.
Speaking before businessmen and foreign media in the Philippine Economic Briefing at the Makati Shangri-La this morning, President Arroyo defended herself and her administration from allegations of corruption related to the ZTE broadband deal.
We take the ZTE issue very seriously. I moved quickly to cancel the project as soon as I could after proper consultation with the government of China, which after all is our largest export market. We want to fight corruption.
The president said allegations of corruption were not limited to her administration.
These types of charges have regularly emerged even in previous administrations as part of our less than impressive political culture. I just hope that this set of charges will not be a political football.
She also lashed out at her critics for spending too much time on politicking rather than governance.
And there are too many who cloak themselves in easy rhetoric and lazy charges who would put personal ambition ahead of national progress. Let us put aside partisan wrangling as candidates jockey for the presidency.
Analyst Peter Wallace said the president could have done more.
I think what the president should do is to tell Secretary Neri to go and testify. What he knows may exonerate the president entirely. I don't know. That's the point. We don't know.
But President Arroyo said she now leaves it up to the Office of the Ombudsman and the Department of Justice to investigate. Outside the venue, primers on the NBN ZTE deal were given out. Cabinet Secretary Ricardo Saludo said it was his idea to provide additional information to the media and other guests. Amidst threats against her life and the protest rallies, the president went on with her schedule today. She led the groundbreaking of the C5 Kalayaan Interchange elevated U-turn slot and the 4-story classroom building in Marikina. Leah Manyalak reporting on Q.
Some analysts and businessmen believe it prudent to wait and see before calling for President Arroyo to vacate her presidency. Sandra Aguinaldo on Q.
Some analysts and businessmen are not joining calls for President Arroyo to resign. Sergio Ortiz Luis, president of the Philippine Exporters Confederation, says issue of corruption surrounding the ZTE scandal should be left to the courts. And in the absence of a court ruling on the matter, he says the president should be left alone to do her job.
Huwag na lang tayo mag-eleksyon. Gano'n na lang gawin natin. Every time there is a testimony, we'll ask somebody to take the place of the president.
But businessmen and analysts agree that the ZTE scandal should not be swept under the rug.
Kung kailangan ikulong yung cabinet secretary, kung sino mang kailangan kamag-anak ikulong, ikulong para naman mas lalo lumakas ang kumpiyansa.
The Management Association of the Philippines came out with a print ad today to express their stand on good governance. They cite the principle of command responsibility in asking if President Arroyo should step down. Meanwhile, the Makati Business Club complained of alleged harassment from a cabinet secretary who threatened to send tax investigators after big businesses. This comes on the heels of the MBC's expression of support for Lazada. The group declined to name the government official.
Itong taktika ni Marcos noon kaya medyo nabigla nga kami, pero now we recognize this as the usual tactics of government.
Sandra Aguinaldo reporting on Q.
And those are the stories for the day, February 15, 2008. I'm Rhea Santos.
And I'm Ivan Merina.
News that matters.
Got it covered.
Only here on
News on Q.